SABC News reporter Katlego Nyoni is in Magoebaskloof in Limpopo, where the convoy carrying the late Tito Mboweni will arrive soon for a private service. Katlego, a very good afternoon to you. So we have seen quite a few of those preparations. We saw construction to make the road available for Tito Mboweni's home already in full swing early this morning. How are the rest of the preparations going? And has, of course, the hearse arrived that is carrying the mortal remains of the former Reserve Bank governor?
Well, Alicia, at this particular stage, at any moment, we are anticipating the arrival of a motorcade which will be transporting in a hearse, of course, the body of the late Finance Minister Tito Mboweni. We are currently stationed on the R71 road between Nyoni and Polokwane, but we are now at Magoebaskloof. This is where the late Minister Tito Mboweni owned a plot towards my left. Earlier on, we were outside the gate of that plot. However, because this is a private service, the media is not allowed to approach to the vicinity of this particular plot, but it is stationed towards my left. Earlier on, again, Alicia, we were able to spot the presidential forwarding team convoy, which also arrived at this plot. We know that the information that was shared with the media by the family is that the body of the late minister will then be welcomed at his plot, and then it will then be transported to Sasekane village, which is situated outside of the town of Nyoni. And then after at Sasekane, it will then be a public viewing for those who will be in attendance at the Sasekane village. What we understand also is, following that viewing by those who want to pay their last respects to the late minister, the body will then be transported again, Alicia, to a town in Magoebaskloof, known a small community known as Heinsberg. It is there that a Roman Catholic church known as Our Lady of Mount Carmel, that they will then have the body lay in state at that particular church. Preparations are indeed underway, Alicia. Tomorrow it will be a public funeral service, of course, following President Cyril Ramaphosa's announcement that Mr. Mboweni will be accorded a Category 2 funeral that will take place at the Stadium. Currently, we are stationed on the R71 road, just opposite from the plot that was owned by the late Minister Tito Mboweni. Alicia.
Katlego, talk to us about, there should be quite a lot of security that is, of course, in place in anticipation of the various dignitaries, both local as well as international, that will be arriving to pay their final respects. Talk to us about that.
Certainly, security will definitely be heightened. Earlier on at the Stadium, we saw a number of police officers conducting their daily drills, of course, in anticipation for tomorrow. The Stadium in itself is a 10,000-seater capacity stadium, so it will indeed be packed to the rafters as mourners from all corners of life, from all spheres of life, come to pay their last respect to the late finance minister and, of course, the late Reserve Bank governor there, Alicia.
All right. And of course, have you seen any of the dignitaries start to arrive at this stage, Katlego?
What we have seen at this particular stage, we observed a presidential forwarding team motorcade enter through the premises. Perhaps let me just ask my colleague to show our viewers. It's a plot which is situated and nestled within the slopes of Magoebaskloof, covered by luscious green trees. Of course, it is secluded. It is a gated plot, Alicia, that is fenced in silver and black gates. This is the plot that belonged to the late Finance Minister Tito Mboweni. The family requested the members of the media not to report directly within the vicinity of the plot. However, at this particular stage, we've seen some family members drive inside this particular plot that belonged to the late Finance Minister. We understand that tomorrow as well, there will be dignitaries, including the former president of the country, Thabo Mbeki, the deputy president, Paul Mashatile, President Cyril Ramaphosa, will then deliver the eulogy address, of course, tomorrow. Yesterday, we saw a sub-region in the Nkowankowa area conducting a memorial service to honor the late minister. Of course, he was considered as a juggernaut by the majority of the ANC delegates that attended that particular memorial service. We saw ANC NEC member David Mahlobo also addressing the mourners who had gathered at the Nkowankowa Community Hall last night. Alicia.
A very quick one, Katlego. I mean, while we talk about the ANC in itself, I mean, he died as a member of the movement itself. So talk to us about if they do have any other plans on the sidelines of course, the official government program pertaining to how they will be according him an official send-off as an ANC member.
What we understand is that following the announcement of the death of Tito Mboweni, we saw several members of the ANC as well as the Provincial Executive Committee in the Limpopo province really paying visits to the family of Alicia. As we speak right now, we are seeing movement that is occurring on the R71 road. As you see, a police vehicle leading this particular motorcade, and a number of vehicles also, Alicia, are going to then make their entrance inside the plot here in Magoebaskloof. As I mentioned earlier, the plot is secluded from the main road, and we can see that there is a hearse there, Alicia, entering the family the plot that belonged to the late minister. It is this motorcade that we had been anticipating its arrival. Alicia, we understand that it is carrying indeed the body of the late minister. From there onwards, Alicia, there will be a private service that will be led by family members, and from there onwards, following that particular service, Alicia, by the family, we are informed that they will then transport the body of the late minister to an area situated about 70 kilometers from where we are. I could be wrong with my geographic coordinates, but it's a village known as Sasekane. This is the family home. Now, what will transpire at the family home of the late minister is that, Alicia, they will then be viewing by those who want to pay their last respect to the minister. Of course, this is a developing occurrence. We will still be stationed around this area as we update our viewers on the preparations. However, tomorrow, members of the public have been indeed urged to only attend the funeral service that will be conducted at the Nkowankowa Stadium. However, at this particular moment, this service at the family home is private, not open to the public. The service also at Sasekane, private as well. Then the minister's body, the late minister's body, will then be transported to a church known as Our Lady of Mount Carmel, which is a Roman Catholic church in the small community of Johannesburg, also private. Alicia.
And Katlego, I'm not sure if you are in the know of what type of traditional rites pertaining to, of course, the former governor's, the late governor's nationality, as well as a traditional and cultural origin of Xitsonga. What type of rites will they be performing at this stage, as we've seen the hearse, of course, that is carrying his mortal remains actually arrived at the plot? I suppose for those rites, as they are still saying that the public is not permissible or permitted to be on the premises at this stage.
Of course, indeed, the day before the funeral service, there'll be various customs as well as traditional rituals conducted by the family, especially aligning to the culture of Mr. Mboweni's family. We also understand at the church, at the Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church, there will also be several customs that are aligned to the Roman Catholic Church that will also be performed. The body will then be lying in state throughout the night before it goes back to Nkowankowa Stadium, which is going to be tomorrow ahead of the start of that funeral. Alicia.
All right, Katlego Nyoni, thank you so much for that update. He is in Zanin giving us the latest update as, of course, those preparations go ahead in anticipation of Tito Mboweni's funeral.